The Vickers main battle tank, MBT, is one of the lesser known, yet fascinating examples of Cold War era tank development. Created by the British firm Vickers-Armstrongs, the Vickers MBT program aimed to provide an affordable but capable tank primarily for export to allied nations that could not afford cutting-edge Western models like the British Chieftain or the American M60. Among its variants, the Vickers MBT Mark IV, sometimes referred to as the Vickers MBT Mk4 or Vickers MBT 80, is especially notable. It represents a significant technological leap from its predecessors and is sometimes colloquially dubbed the Vickers MBT 44 by enthusiasts, referring to its development lineage. Despite its lack of adoption by the British Army, it remains an intriguing chapter in the evolution of main battle tanks. The story of the Vickers MBT begins in the 1960s, as many farmer colonies and allied nations sought to modernize their armored forces. However, many of these countries lacked the budget or industrial capacity to acquire or maintain high-end NATO tanks. Seizing a market opportunity, Vickers-Armstrongs developed a series of main battle tanks tailored for export. The first of these, simply called the Vickers MBT or Vickers Mk1, was introduced in the mid-1960s. It featured a 105 mm L7 gun, the standard NATO gun at the time, and a relatively simple fire control system. This made it an attractive option for countries like India, which became one of the primary operators. The Vickers MBT line evolved gradually, with improvements in firepower, armor, and mobility. By the time development reached what became known as the Vickers MBT Mk4, the company had incorporated significant advancements to compete with Western third-generation MBTs. This included a powerful 120 mm rifled gun, an advanced fire control system, and enhanced composite armor protection. The tank was powered by a Rolls-Royce diesel engine, which provided a good balance of mobility and range for desert and rugged terrain operations, critical for its target markets in the Middle East and Asia. What made the Vickers MBT Mk4 unique was its hybrid nature. It aimed to deliver near first-world performance at a fraction of the cost. It borrowed many concepts from its more advanced cousin, the Chieftain, such as its gun and fire control system, but without the complex hydropneumatic suspension or the heavy weight that made the Chieftain difficult to maintain. In fact, the Vickers MBT was praised for its ease of maintenance and low operating costs, crucial factors for countries with limited logistics infrastructure. The turret design was particularly notable for its low profile and angular surfaces, which offered improved ballistic protection against kinetic and shaped charge munitions. The gunner was equipped with a laser rangefinder and thermal imaging system, cutting-edge technology at the time. The tank's main gun, a 120 mm rifled piece, could fire a wide variety of NATO standard rounds, including high-explosive squash head, HSH, armor-piercing discarding sabot, APDS, and later armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot, APFSDS. А7, 62 мм coaxial machine gun and a roof-mounted 12, 7 mm heavy machine gun provided secondary armament for both anti-infantry and anti-aircraft roles. Crew comfort and survivability were also taken into account. The Vickers MBT Mk4 featured an NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical, protection system, a fire suppression system, and well-thought-out internal layout for crew efficiency. With a crew of 4, a commander, gunner, leader, and driver, the tank followed the traditional British doctrine of maintaining a dedicated leader, which allowed for sustained rates of fire and flexibility in ammunition handling. Despite its promising design, the Vickers MBT Mk4 failed to secure large export contracts. A number of factors contributed to this outcome. First, the market was becoming increasingly saturated with surplus Western and Soviet tanks that were offered at much lower prices. Secondly, many nations began developing their own indigenous tanks or entered co-production agreements to reduce reliance on foreign suppliers. For example, India transitioned from importing the Vickers MBT to developing its own Arjun main battle tank. Countries in the Middle East, which had been potential clients, were often swayed by political considerations or chose American or Soviet hardware due to strategic alliances. The Vickers MBT Mk4 did, however, influence tank design and procurement strategies in several nations. It served as a technological bridge between second and third generation tanks, showing that high capability could be achieved without the extreme costs associated with Western mainline MBTs. Elements of its fire control system and armor layout were later seen in other export-oriented tanks from countries like South Korea, Turkey, and even China. In retrospect, the Vickers MBT-44 will not widely adopted, occupies an important niche in the history of armored warfare. It was a tank born out of pragmatism, designed for clients with real-world constraints, and offering a reasonable compromise between capability and affordability. In an era when many countries were either stuck with outdated World War II tanks or forced to buy into expensive NATO equipment, the Vickers MBT was a rare attempt at a middle ground. Moreover, the Vickers MBT program laid the groundwork for later collaborations and technological transfers. Vickers Defense Systems, the manufacturer, would eventually become part of Alvis Vickers and later BAE Systems, continuing to influence British and global armored vehicle development. Lessons learned from the Vickers MBT program, particularly in logistics, cost-effective engineering, and modularity, continue to inform tank design to this day. Today, surviving examples of the Vickers MBT, including the Mk1, Mk3, and the more advanced Mk4, can be found in military museums or storage depots around the world. While they never saw large-scale combat deployment, they represent an era where versatility, simplicity, and pragmatism could drive innovation just as effectively as sheer technological supremacy. For military enthusiasts and historians, the Vickers MBT is a reminder that not all great designs achieve fame or fortune, but they still play a crucial role in shaping the evolution of military hardware. The Vickers MBT-44 might not have fired a shot in anger, but its impact is nonetheless as part of the broader story of Cold War tank development and the global arms trade in the latter half of the 20th century.